Today let us talk about reporting in Jira, especially on cloud. Now, I was looking at this question on the community from Path, and Path is asking about some kind of reports that he wants to generate. And basically, he is trying to explain his requirement. So he's saying that we have added task for team members till September this year with end date for each task. Okay, that is fine. When they're supposed to be finished. So basically he's saying that for each and every task there is an end date. It could be any date field or let us say a due date. So basically this particular field will help them in understanding by when that particular task should be finished. Okay, that is fine, and that is a good start. Now, the next thing that he's saying that I'm not able to track or manage in a summary or report or dashboard form that how many tasks should have been finished till today and how many we have finished so far, I guess, how much we are lagging or ahead of time. Now using Jira you can definitely look at some of the reports, some of the dashboards, and I have already recommended to him few things that he can immediately do. So starting with, of course, using a roadmap. So even in classic projects now we have this roadmap where you can visually see the progress of, or I should say, where you can basically visually see the plan. So if I open one of my projects, let us say Android, and this particular roadmap feature was recently introduced. It was there in the Next 10 project, and the way it works, the way it behaves is a bit similar to what roadmap was on your next 10 project. So this is how your roadmap will look like, and you can see here some kind of activity. So for example, if you let us say take a look at this particular view here, of course it is not really detailed, but I think it is a good start. For example, for my Epic one, I have two issues. For example, I have AN18 and AN19. So let us say if I open one of the issue, let us just open it, and maybe I will change the status of this to something else. Maybe I want to change it to, let us say, done, for example. So when you change the status of the issues that you have under a specific epic, so you can actually track the progress. And of course this is based on the status, and it also depends on how you define the status, how you define the progress. I mean, in your case, it could be something else. It could be just a matter of maybe resolving the issue or changing the status to done. And you also have the resolved. I mean, you can also use the resolution. If it is resolved, then definitely you can consider it as done. So do take a look at the roadmap. I think it's a good start. On the roadmap, you can plan things visually, and you have the option to do some kind of tracking of the progress. The other thing that you can do is you can always create a dashboard with following gadgets. These are some of the gadgets that I think can be helpful, like Jira Roadmap, which might be useful. The one that I find interesting is the Jira Issue Calendar. So you can also take a look at issue statistics, filter counts, pie chart, and a recently created chart. So with the combination of a couple of these or few of these gadgets, you can actually do really good tracking. Like you can actually understand where you are. For example, if I go to my dashboard, I will try to show you one of my dashboard with the similar gadgets. So you can basically create a gadget that will talk about the current issue statistics. And by the way, whenever you're working with a dashboard, the dashboard is based on either a project or a filter. And in your filter, you can actually define what you want to see. It could also be based on a date range, for example. So whatever you're seeing, whatever you want to see in the dashboard can be for a specific month, for example. And then, of course, you can understand further for a specific set of issues how those issues are distributed based on, let us say, status, for example. So using issue statistics, you can actually have multiple gadgets showing you this information based on, let us say, statistics or the resolution or any other field. So this is something really useful, and you have some indication where you can see in terms of percentage. That can be, I think, really helpful. You can also take a look at the issue calendar, where you can visually see the issues, and it is of course not really detailed, but it is quite decent, I think, because you can see here that, let us say, and by the way, this issue calendar is based on due date, but you can also use any other date field. Now you can see here that if there is an issue which is due on 14th of a specific month, or maybe two issues are due on 18th of December or January, whatever, you can then have them visually displayed. You can also create a pie chart, which I think is always great. It is of course showing you the same information that you have in the issue statistics, but having it visually displayed in a pie chart is really desirable, because you can understand very clearly that right now you have 61% of the issues that are in to-do state. And again, remember that all of these gadgets are based on a filter, and that filter can actually define or basically you can create your own subset of issues. You can also create a gadget or use a gadget called recently created chart, and it will display on a timeline how many issues are getting created and how many of them are getting resolved. So it is also a good indication, I believe. And the one which I quite like is filter count. Now the filter count is a bit similar to, of course, pie chart and the issue statistics, but you can basically focus on what you want to see here. For example, you can choose to display all the statuses that are all the issues based on their resolved status, in progress status, or open status. So this is something that you can do, or you can also change it to something else. For example, maybe you want to display here, let us say, let us try to find some other field, I believe. Maybe let us see what all we have here. So we can also use priority high and priority low and so on. So you can basically have this indication here, a very nice indication of count based on specific status or priority, for example. So these are some of the things that you can do to get started with the reporting. And apart from that, you always have the option to use, in case you're using Scrum, you always have the option to use a burn down chart along with, let us say, velocity chart. And if you're using burn down, then of course you're focused on a specific sprint. Velocity chart will tell you your team's capacity over the past few sprints, and it will help you in understanding your current velocity. And that information is definitely useful for planning future work. And apart from everything else, in case you are not satisfied with the default reporting capabilities, then you can also take a look at the apps. So some of the apps are free, some of the apps are paid. The one that I always recommend is EasyBI, which is one of my favorite app. Using EasyBI, you can do wonderful reporting. It is like a proper BI solution within Jira. And the good thing is that Jira can also generate CSV of issues that you can always maybe open in an Excel sheet, for example, and create macros. So what I used to do, I used to basically populate my Excel sheet with issues from Jira, and I used to run my own pivot charts and do my reporting. And of course, when you're using Excel, you can do a lot of wonderful things. You can maybe create a macro to simply generate a report by clicking a button. That is one option. You can also use other external tools that can talk to Jira using REST API. So if you're using Power BI, you can link it to your Jira instance, and using REST API, Power BI can pull in the information and because Power BI is a proper reporting tool, you can again generate wonderful reports in an external tool. So there are a lot of capabilities when it comes to reporting, and in the beginning I would say try and start by using those gadgets that I mentioned, that I talked about in this video, and you can always look for an app. There are in fact some free apps as well. I believe there is an app from Atlassian. If you search for Atlassian apps, I remember making a video on that topic, but the one that I highly recommend is EasyBI. I mean, that will really solve all of your reporting requirements and your problems related to reporting. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you also learned something new today. Thank you very much.